Hi, it's Nicole. I love reading and I do read a lot, so you might be surprised to hear that I do eat and sleep and do other things as well. So today I'd like to share with you something completely different. Some of my favorite YouTube channels that have little to do with reading. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure you'd like this because you're probably here for the books and reading related content, especially if you are new. I'm sorry if you are disappointed, I'm not talking about books today. But I want to give it a go and see what you think, because at the end of the day, I hope you subscribe and interact with me because you think I'm a decent enough person and an interesting enough person to hang out with, not just because I talk about books. But if you really hate this, please let me know. So today is going to be a mixture of random topics: camping, interior design, history, Bible, and lifestyle. Some of these are about the type of life I'd like to live but too lazy to practice it, or they are educational and fun. I hope you find something interesting to watch for yourself in the next few minutes. So 4 YouTubers are living some aspects of my dream life. These are 2 camping channels and 2 lifestyle channels. The first one is a young woman from South Korea. She travels and camps in South Korea mostly, either sleep in her small car or in a tent. She would set up tents or tarps, build fire with twigs and logs, and cook rather complicated dinner and breakfast. She would actually split the wood, chop vegetables, roast chicken, boil instant noodles, collect mussel-like things from the beach and cook those. And she even makes bread from scratch and bakes them on the fire. I love watching her doing these practical things so much. The fact that I don't understand her language and have to rely on subtitles doesn't even bother me. At the end of each video, she will clear up and she will take a shot of the ground she just camped on specifically and say, "I've left no trace." I really like how she teaches by example that campers should leave no rubbish and no trace behind, be respectful to nature and to the people who might camp there next. I picked this up specifically because I think camping in the UK at least has become a lot more popular in the last couple of years because of COVID and lockdown. I think more people started camping, but campers are not always as mindful to this kind of things, to leaving no trace and be mindful of people around and the environment and the nature. Not as well behaved as it can be in the nicest possible way, because I'm sure I don't always do things right either. So I really like her example. I love the idea of camping and cooking on the campfire, being close to the nature, the birds, the stars. It's all very romantic. But in reality, it never goes well. It always rains. When we camped on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, there was a storm. And somehow I always need a toilet in the middle of the night. I have to climb in and out of that little hole. And I always forget my towel when I go to the shower, and there's bugs everywhere. I don't think I love nature enough to cope with that level of organization and discomfort. That's why I say she's living my dream life for me. I'm content just to watch her. I think there are probably quite a lot of solo camping channels on YouTube now, but I do like watching her, even though her video quality is not the best. I think because she films a lot handheld, some of it is quite shaky, and also she films at night. A lot of it is a bit grainy, but for a one-woman band, I think it's very impressive. But most importantly, she's a very cheery and happy person, so it's really fun to watch her. And the second camping channel is LiamBrown. LiamBrown is based in the UK and he has been wild camping in different national parks in the UK recently. His camping destinations are possibilities for me. We used to camp every year in our small 3-man tent. We even once did wild camping in our BB bags without a tent. If you're interested, I can tell you the full story how we booked an Airbnb that didn't exist. LiamBrown doesn't focus much on the process of putting the tent up. It's usually a time lapse. His meals are quite simple, vacuum-packed meals, tins, buns and ham, and cooking is usually minimum on a gas canister. I saw him making campfire a couple of times, but again, he doesn't film how he gets it going. Putting tents up and building fire are my favorite parts to watch, so that's a bit of a shame. If you compare these two campers, LiamBrown sounds less hardcore than the South Korean girl, but to be fair, he hikes and camps without camping facility. So his gear and supplies have to be lightweight because, for example, he has to carry all the water for drinking and washing, while the South Korean girl camps on campsites and she probably doesn't walk very far from some sort of transport because you can almost always hear cars on the roads nearby. And campsites provides food, water and firewood. So two different types of camping. I love watching both, and it's summer outside, maybe it's time to get my camping gear out. So next are two lifestyle channels. The first one, her 86-meter square. It's about the life of a Vietnamese family of 3 living in Germany. It's a husband and wife team. They might be professional photographers. Their video quality is super high. It's like watching a film. I started with her kitchen renovation and balcony gardening videos. Then they moved into an enormous cottage recently and carried on doing similar content on a bigger scale because they now have more space. There are lots of rolling clouds, rain dripping down roof, or drone footage of farm fields, but also decorating the house, building things from raw materials, cooking, gardening. Her pretty little daughter features a lot as well. I like her gardening tips. She shared some practical tips before, and one of them was bokashi composting. We have a small garden like she used to have, and we haven't got the space for a traditional full-size compost bin, but bokashi composting basically takes a lot shorter period of time and takes very little space to turn kitchen waste into compost, and we've been using it ever since, so we can take our kitchen waste into something we can use in the garden. It's brilliant. I think she's living the ultimate dream life. Slow pace, making her home and garden beautiful and abundant, and making a living out of making her home and garden abundant. She doesn't even have the stress of speaking to the camera. Her videos are cinematic B-rolls with on-screen text. She doesn't even record voiceover. But that's just me being jealous, because I'm sure it takes a lot of time and hard work to film those kind of footage and edit them. They are beautiful to behold. Another channel that's beautiful to behold is a Japanese channel, a Japanese lifestyle channel that has a similar vibe. The videos are usually calm and reflective. Some videos are interviews and vlogs like cooking, room tours, morning routines. Some are mini TV series with fictional stories. The biggest difference from the first 3 is that this channel is not about the channel's owner's life. You can see many people's home space and workspace. I don't know who they are. Again, I don't speak that language. The series I like best is called Kitchen for Singles. Like many Japanese films and TV dramas, they have the magic of making a tiny and messy place look cozy and charming. I think it might be the color grading, but I'm not sure. Because I don't understand what they are talking about, I mainly watch to absorb the overall effect, the interior design, the camera work, the use of light and color. I sometimes take screenshots and save them simply because of how beautiful they are, even as still shots. So I watch this channel more for visuals rather than its content. So the next 3 channels are educational and fun. The first one, Never Too Small, showcases small homes around the world. Usually the designer talks you through the design process, what do the clients want, how the designers meet the requirements while showing the space from various angles and how every nook and cranny is used. There are before and after photos and a floor plan. I'm not an architect, but I love looking at floor plans. Every flat and cabin looks and feels very differently. Because they are small, you can see the design principles and the personality of each home really clearly, and the character comes through really strongly. I guess because if you have a normal house, Every room might have its own character, every room might feel a bit different. The living room might be a bit more colorful than the bedroom, but because these small homes are designed as one space, the whole place feels very consistent. It gives a flavor of the homes in different countries around the world as well. You see people's tastes and priorities. One recent episode is a flat in Singapore. It has its own built-in bomb shelter. I never knew this, and for this owner, it's normally used as a Lego display cabinet. It's fascinating. I love it. The next channel has the biggest subscriber base among all the ones that are mentioned in this video. I was surprised when I did the research. Is BibleProject, a channel all about the Bible with over 3 million subscribers. This channel is unique in many ways. One thing is the style of presentation. You don't see any A-roll, there's no one talking to the camera. The videos use animation with voiceover. We'll talk about their usefulness a bit later. Let's just stop a moment to admire how beautiful it is. Content-wise, there is a mixture of overview of individual Bible books, in-depth study of Bible themes like the garden or the temple, and keywords like listen or so, what the original Hebrew or Greek word is, where does the same word appears in the Old Testament or the New Testament, how was each translated into English, and how we might have misunderstood it, and what it truly means. Literary styles in the Bible in How to Read the Bible series talks about the difference between narrative, poetry, and discourse. And in that video, the different styles of literature are represented by different styles of art. Plot in biblical narratives uses Gideon in the book of Judges as an example to demonstrate the point that we should read the Bible stories in bigger context and don't lose the wood for the tree. This might all sound obvious and natural to novel readers. You read chapter 1 and then you read chapter 2 and you see the progression. But you'd be surprised to know that it's not that obvious and natural to many Bible readers, who often take verses or passages out of context and fall into the danger of misinterpretation. So there's a whole series of videos on the BibleProject YouTube channel that help people to get the bigger picture. These are 5 to 10 minute videos, summarize the overall storyline of individual Bible books with cartoon style illustrations unfolding onto one piece of parchment. I love they are concise, clear, and memorable. It all looks a breeze, but I'm sure tons of creativity and hard work has gone into each video. Writing the scripts, doing the illustration, recording the voiceover, composing the music, all come together to achieve the final result. It's superb. Last one, English Heritage. English Heritage is a charity that manages over 400 historic monuments, buildings and places. These include prehistoric sites, Roman forts, medieval castles and country houses. Their goal is to use these properties to bring the story of England to life. Obviously, you expect the channel produces videos about those sites across the country, about their history, present and future of the buildings and grounds, but there are many other excellent videos as well. I first discovered the channel through their history-inspired makeup tutorials, where they demonstrate Queen Elizabeth's makeup, Queen Victoria's makeup, looks from the 1930s and 1940s during the Second World War. Not just how it looks, but also using period-appropriate ingredients and tools. Home Throughout Ages is a series with roleplay designed with children in mind. So in this episode specifically, one person plays the role of a spy from Poland during the Second World War. So during the war, he was trained in this country house in England and was sent back to Poland to fight the Nazis. Now he comes back to the old headquarters for a visit, which is an English heritage site, and talks about what he did during the war. But he says, I can't tell you everything, it's classified. Children interact on video calls, asking questions like, why did you come to England and not stay in Poland during the war? The answer blends together personal life story and national and world history. And then he walks to a different spot of the magnificent site and answers another question. It's a very clever way to teach young people and make them interested in history, as well as attract visitors. But the ultimate role play is Mrs. Crocombe, a Victorian cook in a country house. She cooks in a Victorian kitchen, using Victorian recipes, cooking methods, ingredients, utensils, and appliances. She makes things like asparagus rolls, rabbit pudding, and chutney. There's one episode of a dairy maid making butter, and an episode of a housekeeper giving a tour of the laundry to a laundry maid candidate, and sprinkling historical details like you have to wash 600 towels every week, or you have to get up at 3 in the morning on Monday to light the fire. I think the channel does bring the story of England to life. I hope some of these are new to you. All of these are quite big, and I think a lot of them have a professional production team. That's how I heard of them. YouTube suggested them to me. And I'm not very adventurous, I tend to just stick to the same channels. But I'm sure there are a lot of fantastic smaller channels out there that I haven't heard of. So if you know any that you think I might like, please leave me a link in the comments. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one.